Alright guys, so the first thing I talked about was custom objects. And you've seen objects in a lot of places before, and you might not even have known it. So I'll give an example. Let's do a quick import. Let's import java.util.scanner at the top, and let's create a scanner. So scanner sc equals new scanner. And then we pass in system.in. So you should recognize this. Scanner is what we use to take input from the console and fun stuff like that. So you may be saying, all right, great, we've got a scanner set up, so what are we going to do with that? Nothing right now. I'm just going to tell you why this is important. Scanner, along with many other things, is an object. Basically everything in Java is an object. Scanner, you see, it starts with an uppercase S. That's a signal that this is an object. Now you may be saying, all right, well, main also starts with an uppercase M. Well, main is a class, and a class can be used to make an object. Now, that's a little confusing right now, but just give me some time. We have scanner, right, which is our scanner object, and we named this object sc. We then said new scanner, which basically says, I want you to create a new instance of this scanner. So what does instance mean? Instance basically means I want you to create a copy of this class. And when I'm ready, I would like to use that copy. So let's just write that down. Instance copy of a class. So that, for example, lets us do this. We can do sc.nextLine, right? But we can also make another scanner. Scanner sb equals new scanner. System.in. All right, great. So we made another object. What's that supposed to mean? Well, that just reiterates what instance means. This is just another copy, right? This is just a copy of the scanner class. So now we've got a copy of the scanner class named sc, and we've got a copy of the scanner class named sb. And we also said that scanner is equal to a new scanner, so it initializes it, or creates that copy. Now, what happens if I just typed scanner sb? No error occurs, right? There's no problem here. The only issue is that I didn't initialize it. So if I try to do sb.nextLine, sure, you'll see that an error occurs because it says the local variable sb may not have been initialized because we didn't type this equals new scanner system.in. There we go. And now you'll see the error goes away. So that's just a very, very, very small intro to show you that objects can come in different forms and that you can create multiple instances of these objects. So let's delete this. And we can delete the import. So we go up to the top and go down a little bit in main, and let's take a look. I'm going to drag this window over so you can see my files. So if we go look at the default package right down here, we can go to new. Let me drag it over a little bit more. We can right click this, go to new, and select new class. What are we going to name this class? Well, here's the thing. If you want to have an individual object, you need to have a specific class for it. Scanner has a specific class for itself. There is a file in the Java programming files that is called scanner, and it handles all input. There is a file in the Java programming files called ArrayList. There is one called String Builder. There's tons of them. So let's create our own custom one. This is where this comes in. So let's name this point. What is point going to do? Point is going to hold two values. It's going to hold x and it's going to hold y, and that's it. You know how scanner can do all this fun stuff. You know it holds values to take an input from you and do all this crazy stuff. Point's just going to hold two x and y values. So let's press finish, and I will return this back to the top. and you'll see that we have something called public class point. So we have our custom class, and you know we've done this before in the beginner tutorials, right? So it should be pretty easy. Normally we'd write a method like public void do something, right? Well, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to create a constructor. I call the constructor, I talked about it like once or twice beforehand, but now I'm going to tell you why we have constructors. This is what a constructor is and how you make it. First, make a constructor by typing public and then the name of your class. So public point, not paint. And then, make the normal parentheses as if you were making a method. And there you go. So this is your constructor. There's no errors because this is correct. So what does the constructor do? So when you call this class for the first time, the constructor is called. You don't need to say anything for the constructor to be called. For example, when I make scanner, sc equals new scanner, system.in, it is calling the scanner constructor. There is a scanner file that has a scanner constructor. Just think about it this way. Create a new object, calls constructor. That's it. That's all you need to know. Why would we have this? Well, maybe we want to set up some values before we do that. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So let me quickly make two values here. We want to make two values. We want to make two integers. We want to make x and y. So let's make int x right below public class point, and then let's make int y right below that. So we know that if these two variables are outside of a method, that these are basically global for this entire class. You could access x here, you could access x here, you could create another method and access it there. Same for y. So what do we want to do with these values? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give them default values. So when we call this point class, we want to set these x and y values to something. Let's set them to both 0 to start off. So how do we do that? Well, this is how it works. You type this, you literally type this, .x equals your number. What does this mean? This refers to this class. You could also say x equals 0, but I'll tell you why we're not going to do that a little bit later. So let's do it again. This .y equals 0. So we're referring to this class and its y value, and we set y equal to 0. That's all we're going to type. Now let's create another constructor. This is called overloading. Overloading is a great feature in object-oriented programming which allows you to create a method with the same exact name, but with arguments. Now, what are arguments? Well, I'll show you. You already know, but I'll show you again just for a refresher. So I'm going to type public point and then make the method, and you'll see it highlights because it's a duplicate method. So we're going to fix that. Let's go ahead and type int x, comma int y. Now you'll see the error goes away because this is where overloading comes in. Overloading, what it does is it allows you to make a method with the same exact name, public point, but you can add arguments so it's different. So this is wonderful because now we can take in values. So remember how scanner, sc equals new scanner, blah, 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 you've seen it a million times. It takes an argument. We type in system.in. So that's kind of like what we're doing here, right? We're taking an argument, or two, just like scanner takes an argument when it starts. I don't think scanner can do it without an argument, but many classes can. For example, ArrayList can, or string builder. So let's delete this scanner and take a look. This is where this command comes in. Let's type this.x is equal to x. This is what I love about Java. In many other programming languages, you can't type this. Sometimes the compiler gets confused, for example, in Objective-C. So we have this dot x is equal to x. So it's basically saying this. I want this to be equal to this. So we pass over a value and we set it equal to this. Simple as that. Now we're going to do it for y. This dot y equals y. This class's y value up here is equal to the y value we just passed. Simple as that. All right, so that's all I'm going to do for now. In the next tutorial, we will talk about printing these values and creating our custom object inside our main class. So that's where all that fun comes in. So until then, I will see you in the next tutorial.